Adam, another unbelievable twist to this saga before AB has even played a game with the Raiders. What more can you tell us here?
Well, David, this is a developing situation. This stems yesterday when Antonio Brown posted Mike Mayock's letter to him in which he was fining him over $54,000 and said that the next act would be considered conduct detrimental to the team. Now, again, the details are still sparse and coming together, but it obviously led to some sort of heated exchange / confrontation / something that happened between Mike Mayock and Antonio Brown, where basically Antonio Brown got sent away, and I'm told that the team is planning to suspend him. It becomes the latest chapter in an unfolding saga that surrounded Antonio Brown this summer, starting with him basically stepping into the cryotherapy chamber and suffering burns on his feet, then going through the helmet ordeal that ended yesterday where he settled on a new helmet, but now there's this latest flare-up, and it sounds like it is intense, and it sounds like it is unusual, and it sounds like the Raiders are going to be without their star wide receiver when they open the season Monday night on Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos.
Unbelievable turn of events here, Adam. What more can you tell us of any length of the suspension and what recourse AB might have here?
Well, listen, again, if you'll notice in that letter yesterday, Mike Mayock said basically that it was a situation that conduct detrimental to the team would be considered if any further actions happened. And so obviously there was something that happened yesterday, David, that led to this exchange between these two men that wound up with this team now planning to suspend Antonio Brown going forward.
When you take a look at this situation with Antonio Brown, what do you see?
Disaster. You know, I credit Mike Mayock for doing the right thing. And we've talked about AB as the player and the impact that he could potentially have on the Raiders because he's such a good player. But there is a big difference between being a great player and a great pro. And AB, since he's become a Raider, has just shown time after time after time, he's not a great pro. And that has really bad impact on your locker room. And I credit Mayock for going, I don't care how good of a player you are. We are not going to allow you to be bigger than the football team, be bigger than me. He called him out on social media and challenged him. Mike Mayock had no choice but to do that. The downside is the collateral damage. The collateral damage is obviously the football team and the quarterback. And Derek Carr, who again has a very short window to prove himself to Jon Gruden, is going to be without AB now, the guy that he needs to go play really well. So it's just been a disaster from day one, and this goes back to Week 17 last year when he quit on the Pittsburgh Steelers in a must-win game to get into the playoffs. I'm not surprised by these antics or what has happened at all. I expected this out of AB.
Yes. What do you make of the fact that it's Mike Mayock doing this? And we haven't heard Jon Gruden's name a lot in this kind of flare-up, and apparently Mayock and AB got into it yesterday. Where's Jon Gruden in all this?
Well, listen, Jon Gruden, obviously, I mean, you're sitting there going, the best player on my football team's now not going to be able to play. And so as a coach, you go, that's a difficult thing to overcome. But at the end of the day, you hear Jon Gruden talk, you watch him on HBO and Hard Knocks, and you hear how important he wants to get guys who just want to play football. That's all he wants. He doesn't want the social media diva that this has become. And so Mike Mayock's job is to make sure that the best 53 guys for the football team, not just the best 53 players, but the best 53 guys for the football team are on your roster and available to play. If he deems that AB's not, which he has, then that's his job as a general manager. Now Jon Gruden has to fall and say, okay, how do I coach this football game without him?
Gruden is such a visible coach.
Sure.
Mayock's a first-year GM, but it's Mayock who's stepping up. I'm just wondering if Gruden is trying to preserve somewhat a good cop, bad cop thing where he's still okay with AB and making Mayock do the dirty work.
Yeah, that's a challenge for Gruden, right? Is he, because eventually you are expecting AB to come back. But at the end of the day, as long as you set clear standards to AB, Jon Gruden's job is to make sure that he does not treat AB differently than he treats a younger receiver or a less productive receiver or a defensive back. Because again, as a head coach, if you're going to allow him to get away with stuff, I'm telling you, locker rooms, guys will then think that they can get away with it too. And I understand people are going to go, well, they're not the same player as AB. Players don't think that way. why is AB allowed to not show up to meetings on time? Or why is AB allowed not to go to practice? Like, and guys will start to think as, okay, maybe if I'm cool with AB, then I'll be allowed to do with what AB does. And Jon Gruden, that's what he has to fight here, is setting, listen, the Raiders have been bad for a while now, right? So we got to set a standard of what will be accepted within this organization. 10-year contract for the head coach. So yes, there is that delicate balance of when AB comes back, I want to make sure he'll play hard for me, but at the same time, there's 52 other guys in that locker room, and they're looking at Jon Gruden going, how are you going to handle this? Because how he handles that dictates how everything else or how other guys think they're allowed to act.
And you really wonder what's going to get through to Antonio Brown. I mean, basically he had a great thing going in Pittsburgh. It blew up, and they shipped him to Oakland. And now, before he's even set foot on the football field, he had the problem with the helmet. And I thought the Raiders hung with him pretty well on that, and they tried every recourse they could to find him a helmet. He had the frostbitten feet, and now basically going at it with his general manager. And you just wonder, is there a wake-up call? Does anything get through to Antonio Brown?
No, because there's the $31 million there, right? Like that's the truth of the situation when you get someone in pro sports who's making that much money. He controls the situation right now. The Raiders aren't just going to cut him, you know, because the financial money they've committed to him and the picks they've committed to him. So he has a lot of control with this situation, and he's got a lot of power, and power brings out the worst of us, right? And you're seeing the power that AB forced his way out of Pittsburgh, forced the Raiders to essentially pay him money, and now he believes that has allowed him to do whatever he wants. And so you're seeing that power rise up in him. And so the Raiders are in a bad place. You know, I promise you today they have buyer's remorse. Because, again, now everyone else in that locker room, they have a Monday Night Football game, and they were planning AB to be there. And now he's not going to be there. Hi, everyone. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, more analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+. We'll see you there.